Hello, my name is Monica, and my review is on a movie named Pecker. And it is a stereotypical raunchy 90s movie. It mocks like conservative thinking and the weirdness of living in a small community. Pecker is a teenage boy whose mom gave him an old camera, and he became obsessed with taking pictures of all things around him, including the people in his everyday life. He is discovered during a self promoted gallery that he held himself at a pizza joint where he worked. And the person who discovered him was a woman who ran a gallery in fancy New York City. So Pecker lives in, I think it was Baltimore. And so his photos are actually pretty interesting, or whomever took them for the movie, they were pretty interesting. So he captures people in their natural state, whether that be like angry or happy or relaxed. And his demeanor is just like very kind and sweet. So most people just allow him to take the photos. But some people do become angry at having a camera in their face. He doesn't ask permission as he is taking those images, and he is pretty close up. So that kind of give you the idea of why they're angry. He doesn't use a zoom lens either, by the way. He's right up in their face. He also takes some street photography and like some photos of food and urban scenes. So he has a range of other things, not just people. So once his photos were viewed in the New York City Gallery by, I guess, what some people may call like high society, his life spirals. People get very angry with him because his show makes the paper and the images were then shared widely. So the subjects of his photos were the ones who were angry at him. Um, and he technically didn't ask their permission. So yeah, they're pretty mad. Um, he does take lots of photos of his girlfriend, but because of the ultimately the exposure of his show, he loses like his girlfriend and also his best friend. Um, this movie does relate to some of the modules that we covered in class, in that Pecker does take photos of strangers without their permission. He also takes lots of photos of his own family while they are like, conducting their everyday life duties. So even if the movie does have like some raunchy scenes, which, by the way, I kind of found really funny, it actually does make a good point about photographing people who don't want to be photographed, even though they are in public. Though technically, I know that as photographers, we do have a right to do so. Some people just want to keep their images out of public view. So, um, they want a quiet and private life. But putting the images on display can really affect that person's life in ways that maybe most artists just don't consider. We don't really think about that when we're, taking the photos of how the lives of the people that we photograph would be affected, whether it be spiritually, financially, or mentally, if ever one of those images is widely shared or exposed. So the movie is clearly a low budget B movie. um, Maybe they wanted to make it like a cult classic, but honestly, I'd never heard of it, and I kind of like those ridiculous movies from the '90s. I wouldn't say it was well made, but I think it did reach its targeted audience, which just happens to be like when you're in the mood for like a thinkless moment. Like this is just a weird movie that you don't have to think too much about. You just want to laugh. I do feel that the reactions of some of the characters to their image being shared widely is pretty accurate. Even if this movie was attempting to show like an exaggerated version of someone's reaction, I think, especially today where we have access to cameras 100% of the time because of our phones, and those images can be like shared immediately to public forums like on the internet. Um, this movie was actually filmed in 1988, So when it was made, taking photos was not as accessible, excuse me, as it is today. So you had to have like a camera and film, and then the film had to be processed, and then the photos had to be printed, and then you had to find somewhere to display them. This could take weeks, even months, even years, depending on where you are um, in your photography career. So would I recommend it? I wouldn't highly recommend it to just anybody. I think this is a very niche movie, and so I don't think that a large majority of people would enjoy the raunchiness of this particular 90s film. If there was a person who I thought would enjoy that that kind of comedy, I think I would recommend it. But I feel that that'd be like few and far between. And that is all. Thank you very much.